Hey, everybody, welcome to Ask Dr. Testosterone, starring Dr. George Touliatos, brought to you by his book, Bodybuilding, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, available on Amazon.com, as well as his website, gtool.com, gtoul.com. Dr. Touliatos is a regular contributor every month to Muscular Development magazine, contributor every week to musculardevelopment.com with brand new articles, also been featured in books like William Llewellyn's Anabolics. Please welcome from Athens, Greece, Dr. George Touliatos. How are you, George?
Hello, Ron. Have a nice week. And let's move on to the 12 questions. I think we.
Yeah, I was gonna spend time telling you how great your new camera looks, but let's get right into the questions.
Okay, it's a 4K camera.
Yeah,
I was jealous from you, so I bought it. I spent $250 for this.
Yeah, it's great. People can count every pore on our nose and our forehead now. It's great. So yeah, here we go, guys. 12 questions. You guys really came through this time. Let me tell you. So number one. How bad is Accutane really on the lipids in the liver? When compared to 17-alkylated steroids, is it worse or better? What would be worse? And then he wants, what would be worse on your lipids and liver, Dianabol or Accutane?
Well, Accutane is based on vitamin A, which is retinoic acid. It's the most effective drug to use against the cystic acne, which is a problem among the bodybuilders because bodybuilders develop acne through the DHT reduced by testosterone, and this is caused because of the higher sebum production from the sebaceous glands in the hair follicles of the skin. Now, Accutane is capable of drying the mucous membranes. That's why it's not wise to be used along with stenozolol, because stenozolol cuts off aldosterone, and then you have a drier synovial joint. Therefore, it's more likely to happen the ruptures. Accutane is, of course, liver toxic, but not only that. It's also responsible of misconceptions, psychosis, hallucinations, because it acts also in the mental field, depression as well. And also it causes you, maybe it's photophobia. That means you cannot see straight the sunlight, But anyway, Accutane, there are some dermatologists that they recommend Accutane under when it's not evitable to reduce cystic acne by other medications such as clindamycin lotion or azelaic acid, and they refer to Accutane, and they say there's bad reputation because if it's used wisely, it's not as toxic as it should, as they say. I had a patient. Actually, maybe you can call him a client, who was into bodybuilding, and he used Accutane even the last week before his show in order to reverse his acne at the back, especially, was horrible. Even though he was using halotestin and Anavar, but not Winstrol, so 2 17-alkylated pills, he was using Accutane every other day, and it's a capsule. It's not a tablet. But anyway, I think that Dianabol is the number 3 most liver toxic compound. Maybe the number 4. Then first you have M3, which is methyltranolone, and then you have fluximesterone, which is halotestin, then you have oxymethylone, which is anadrol, and then closely comes Dianabol, and afterwards stenozolol. So Dianabol is among the strong liver toxic steroids, and I believe this is worse than Accutane, because also Dianabol is toxic to the lipids, so it's responsible of dyslipidemia. So, but the most clever, smart thing is not to use them alongside with 17-alkylators. So Accutane, if is used, then use it with injectable steroids and not with pills. Okay, but compared to the Dianabol, of course, Dianabol is worse. Plus, it's responsible of dyslipidemia, so elevation of LDL and cholesterol, and reduce of HDL.
Yeah, back knee. It's such an unsightly thing when a guy turns around and his back. Ugh.
This is better than having spots on the face, You cannot date.
Well, yeah, true. You go to a show and a guy has a back riddled with acne. It's a bad look. Okay, more liver questions. What are all the good and natural liver support supplements, and what is the proper dosing for each? Can you take them all together for maximum protection? Are there any pharmaceutical liver protections as well? and what is proper dosing?
Well, what is pharmaceutical? Definitely, it's injectable glutathione available in Italy, and it's used for cirrhosis, in alcoholism.
Yeah.
Now, also in Egypt, you're going to find silymarin, which is milk thistle, in pharmaceutical grade packages. Yes, distributed by the pharmacy store, over the counter.
Yeah.
Now, Leaf 52 is a herb, of course, from Himalaya, Ayurveda, and NAC, N-acetylcysteine, is responsible of elevating natural production of glutathione in the liver. However, NAC is also used from immunologists, from pulmonologists that deal with lungs, okay, or respiratory system, because it's responsible of this mucus when you have bronchitis and mucus and coughing. NAC is responsible to get waste of this mucus through coughing. And as a matter of fact, my mother used it when she had pneumonia in order to get rid of the spit, with the mucus.
Yeah.
And also, there was a time 2 years ago, 3 years ago, actually it was 4 years ago, when a professional boxer visited me in my office. Was Mike Arnautis, which he lives in New Jersey, and he's I think he had a fight with Oscar De La Hoya in middleweights. He lost, but he's very famous. He's a professional boxer, and he told me that he's using NAC in order to improve his respiratory capacity and increase indirectly his VO2 max. So NAC, you may find it in the grid pharmacy store as a product, that helps also with respiratory issues, but of course we use it for liver protection. So this glutathione, NAC, milk thistle or silymarin, and Leaf 52, you can use them alongside everything, especially during pre-contest preparations with meals.
Yeah.
All right. Or glutathione all year long. Once a week is enough in case you hung out and you have a hangover,
Hangover cures. Okay, we're always looking for those. Okay, here's a good one. The follow-up question about Mesterolon/Proviron. If one wants to enhance a test cycle with it, not as a contest prep, in order to lower SHBG and for the mood benefits, what would be a good dose for that, Proviron?
Well, personally, I use it 25 milligrams all year long. And
every day?
Every day, yes.
Okay.
It's available in Green Pharmacy store without pharmacy, and 20 tablets cost $3.
I'm in the wrong country.
It's among the very few, the three steroids we have available in Greece.
Yeah.
Many people of 60 or 70-year-old men use it, to have sex, along with Viagra.
Oh.
Yes. And when I want to boost, I use it twice, of course, 25 a.m., 25 p.m. And when it's come a special occasion, when I find a new girlfriend, I take 100 milligrams every day in order to crash my SHBG and liberate more free testosterone,
Yeah.
It makes you more horny because DHT is responsible of the sex drive, of the cognitive function, of this aggressiveness.
Yeah.
Yes, so it's a good enhancement. It's a libido enhancer, mainly the DHT, so the Proviron. But I'm not sure how many milligrams are going to be used because it's a pill and it's not 17 alkylated. So what is not 17 alkylated, like Proviron, mainly, and of course Andriol, it's not resistant to the liver metabolism. Therefore, we don't know how many milligrams I'm going to survive from the liver metabolism, and be used.
Right. Yeah, I think it was the comedian Chris Rock. He had a funny line about Viagra or Cialis. He said, Viagra is not to get your dick hard. He says, Viagra is to get your dick hard for the same woman that you've banged 10,000 times. So if you got a new girlfriend, you should be all set. Okay, next question comes to you from your nearby neighbor of Italy. It's right next to Greece, right? I believe so. Using finasteride and anastrozole together can free up testosterone, or is it more beneficial using only anastrozole?
Of course, finasteride is going to castrate you because it cuts off DHT, and DHT is responsible for all the benefits of testosterone. Actually, testosterone is a prohormone to DHT. So it would not be wisely to use DHT. It will cut off straight your libido. I had 2 cases of patients in my office who visited with me with the so-called post-finasteride syndrome, first be described by John Chrysler. And it's a horrible withdrawal when your mood drops down to zero, and you have melancholy and maybe depression, and also your sex drive is tanked. So, of course, anastrozole, there was an experiment in a Greek public hospital when it was administered for 6 months in small doses, 0.5 milligram, for instance, a day. There was elevation of LH and FSH because it works by lowering the estrogens in hypothalamus and then in hypophysis, and then triggers the hypothalamus. Similar mechanism to the SERMs, by lowering the estrogens in the brain, and then it triggers for GnRH and LH and so on. But reducing too much of estrogen, then it's not good. But among the two, definitely, anastrozole is more useful in case we have elevated estrogens, okay?
Yeah. Okay. Finasteride. Bad news, guys. Okay. What is a good TRT dose? I'm not looking to get big or anything, even though a little more muscle is never bad, but I'm already in good shape, just looking to feel better and have a better libido. I heard 150 milligrams of cypionate is a good place to start with microdosing.
Yes, microdosing is number one because we want to have steady levels. However, microdosing kind of elevates SHBG because SHBG will be crushed. Therefore, we're going to have higher free testosterone, which is the real deal, by using one single large dose, for instance, every Monday. However, because of the half-life is close to 1 week, but the testosterone peaks to the second day, until the third day, then you're going to feel a crash and then downhill. So a couple of days, the day before, 2 days before the next shot, you're going to suffer, Then therefore, you don't have higher levels, plus the fact that a higher, larger dose will affect estrogens more, and perhaps DHT, and actually DHT may be also responsible for red blood cells production, erythrocytosis. But anyway, frequent dose, a small monodose, is better to feel also more steady levels. So, for instance, if you inject twice a week, you feel you have more steady levels related to once a week or even every other day. So now the dose is subjective, and one size does not fit all. Yeah. So there are some people that are severely hypogonadic with total testosterone of 200, while others may feel hypogonadic with testosterone of 350 or 400. Therefore, and also it's a matter of body mass index and androgen receptor capacity. So, for instance, I have a patient who is he's 6'3", and he was a former world champion of bodybuilding, amateur, of course. Yeah. He's competitive, yes. He was Mr. Greece several times. So at 6'2", 6'3", and he weighs now, he's 40-year-old, and he weighs 240.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry, he weighs, I'm sorry, 260.
Oh, big dude.
Now,
okay.
He needs 200 milligrams in order his total testosterone to be close to 1,000, while myself, less than 200 milligrams, I'm 1,100. So it's not equally. Personally, I'm very conservative because of my erythrocytosis issues, and I follow Thomas O'Connor rules. So I go by low, so 100 milligrams, and I'm close to 800, 900. That's enough for me, Yeah. If I go at 75, which is really low, then I go to 500 or 600. But when I came to America, I was shooting close to 200, actually 175, and my total T was 1,100. So, nobody's equal, but if you want to be optimized, certainly you have to be between 100 and 200. Maybe 150 would be fair enough. Yeah. Actually, today I had a phone call from a patient of mine who is, he's an alpha male. He's very good looking. He's a bachelor. He sleeps with different women every month, for instance. And he told me, George, I cannot have sex with 200 milligrams. I need at least 1 ml of NF8 per week. 250s, and I have verified this by another patient of mine who told me, George, I cannot have frequent intercourse with my girlfriend if I don't shoot 250. I told him, okay, it's up to you, but over 200, you're out of range by the papers, and this is going to cost you later to have a blood transfusion sooner, and then maybe to use an aromatase inhibitor sooner. So maybe you're gonna face some consequences of that in the near future related to lower dose when things will be more controlled.
Yeah. I asked O'Connor, we did a show and we were talking about TRT doses. I said, what's the highest dose that you had to give somebody to keep them in normal range? And he said, some people, very rare people, they metabolize the drug so quickly. He had a patient that has to be on 600 milligrams of cypionate a week just to be in the normal range
That's
of.
crazy, man. That's crazy. Some people cycle with 500.
Oh yeah.
I've heard also by Ron McLean saying the same thing, but it's crazy for me.
I mean, I know a ton of guys who live on 500 milligrams of test a week.
What about then? You're gonna need for sure 1 or 2 milligrams of anastrozole per week, and this is gonna cost on your HDL levels.
Yeah, I mean, the price to pay for everything, right? So here we go. Next question, doctor. There are really a lot of supplements on the market, and bodybuilders can spend big money on that stuff. Doc, can you please tell us the supplements for cycle support, which are really working, and explain how they work? Number 1, heart, cardiovascular system lipids. 2, blood. 3, liver. 4, kidney. 5, blood. 6, prostate. 7, skin. My God. Okay, this could have been a whole show. Jeez.
We have said we have called this before this question. No, so roughly for the cardiovascular profile, you're gonna need, if not statins, that you are a favorite of statins, and also Thomas O'Connor, you have to use other alternative supplementation such as red rice yeast, bergamot, phytosterols, polycosanol, krill oil, EFAs. Okay, this is for dyslipidemia. Now for liver, we just said it in the beginning, we need glutathione, we need milk thistle, we need Li52 and NAC, N-acetylcysteine. For kidneys, I don't know any particular supplement that may help, apart from plenty of hydration, and maybe if you refer to urinary issues, then cranberry is capable of reducing the frequency of urinary tract inflammation, as a precaution. Liver was said, so yes. What else? And aspirin also may help as a blood thinner, what else is
prostate, saw palmetto?
Saw palmetto and lycopene, which is a carotenoid in tomato sauce, against prostate cancer, but in the long term. But saw palmetto, may make sure that saw palmetto will reduce your DHT, if so. And we need DHT for sex drive and to look also drier. What else?
The last one was skin supplements.
Skin. We need zinc for the ulcers of acne. We need vitamin E also. We need, of course, those medications I called you for the acne, but vitamin A also.
Yeah.
Okay. That's all.
Okay, that was a long question, guys. So here we go. I've started using a low dose of Deca recently, 30 milligrams twice a week, to see if it helps with back pain and pain in both my calves. What should I look for in blood tests, especially for Deca?
Well, I'm not sure about back pain. I use Deca for shoulders or elbows. I don't know for knees, but mainly for shoulders. And you need the hydration lubrication at 50 milligrams at least. But when I use it more higher, so 100 or 200, I get more bloated on the face, because of the aldosterone. Also, Deca is responsible for aromatization, produces estrogen, so estrogen you get more puffy. But it's also up to the diet, of course. Now, what do you expect from Deca? I believe the first thing is such a low dose. The first thing would be HDL to see if it goes down. I'm going to say maybe some slight transaminamia if you overtrain also, but not something special above 2 digital liver enzymes,
Yeah, I know a little bit about back pain because I've had it on and off, most of my life now. And usually it's not centered in the joint. I know we're not orthopedic people.
No. It's about the discs. It's about the disc.
Even the muscles, you can have strains in the lumbar muscles too.
But the disc is not about GH or Deca, it's about hyaluronic acid injected into the disc. Yeah. It's gel,
Don't try that at home, people. Even if you can get some of that stuff. Don't be injecting your disc by yourself. Next one, I am on TRT, 70 milligrams every 5 days. My spermogram is bad, so I take HCG and Menopur, FSH at 1,000 IUs and 75 IUs, respectively, every 3 days. Does FSH Menopur peak estrogen? I've never even heard of
Yes,
this
I
stuff.
believe it will. I had this discussion 2 days ago with a friend of mine who's a gynecologist at the gym, and we had done one seminar together about infertility and steroid use. It will indirectly, because those peptides, HCG, HMG, in first place, are not going to be aromatized like some steroid molecules, anabolic steroids. So they will indirectly through the endogenous elevation of testosterone that will eventually will aromatize. And they act synergistically. So the HCG with HMG, and they have remarkably elevated and improved spermatogenesis. Actually, there was a patient of mine with azoospermia, which is zero. It's negligible spermatozoa.
Jeez.
And this is, of course, not reversible, but he told me that after your course, doctor, after 1 month supply of those enzymes, of those peptides, I was able to boost 1 million my spermatocytes and froze them.
Oh, geez.
So, of course, with 1 million cells, you can still perform IVF by, at the laboratory, of course, and have fertilization.
Hey, you might have helped this guy carry on his family name, doctor. Huh?
I've achieved this with 3 people, with 3 guys, bodybuilders,
Wow.
They want me to be now the godfather.
Before we do this next question, I should have asked you, do you know what this is? DHB? Do you know what it is?
Hydroboldenone. I never use that, and I searched it on the anabolics. It's not, it does not exist. But if you want to talk about the QPOS, which is boldenone,
yeah,
it resembles to Deca. It aromatizes less than Deca. It's a drug that is less anabolic than Deca, actually. It's veterinary. It's not for human use. Right. It's very frequent in South America. It's a very slow release drug, resemble to Deca also. Yeah, very slow. So you need more than a month to visualize any effects. It comes in low concentration of 50 milligrams only.
Yeah.
And you have to inject over a gram, over a half a gram, so at least 500 or 600 milligrams to see any reasonable. I had some anecdotal notes that it stimulates appetite.
Yeah, it does.
And also erythrocytosis, so you boost your red blood cells.
Yeah, luckily there's been underground versions of it that are much more highly concentrated, 200 or 300 milligrams per milliliter.
200, yes.
But when I first started using it way back in the day, it was these big jugs, 50 milliliter jugs, and the concentration was 50 milligrams per mil, and that's a lot of oil. Oh.
But it doesn't hurt, when it's less concentrated.
True, but I mean that's a lot of oil to be pushing in.
You need a lot.
Yeah, I mean if you're trying to get like 600 milligrams of that stuff, oof, that's a lot of oil. Here's a good one. How long does it take to feel the mental effects of testosterone?
When hypogonadtic men come to my office at work, I tell them to repeat the first follow-up within a month in 4 weeks and start writing down any effects. I believe 4 weeks are enough to see all the benefits that come out of testosterone in the mental sphere, in sex drive, also physical results and performance, and also not just go by the paper, and assess the blood work, but also as you describe them in your physical examination, in the history. Yeah. So I guess, yes, 4 weeks are enough to experience. Today I had a case at work. So this guy told me that I'm starting using Proviron DHEA. What should I expect? I told him with such a high as HBG, you're going to use 100 milligrams of Proviron. I believe in next week, you're going to feel much better by taking 100 milligrams of Proviron, Yeah. It's a large dose, but it's effective dose. So in such cases, but 1 week, 1 month, I believe it's a good time to experience the benefits.
Okay, 1 month. Any benefits to using aspirin as a pre-workout? I'm not taking the ECA stack, just aspirin on its own. What milligram dosage would be used if there were any benefits to it? The internet is full of garbage and I don't know what to believe anymore. Aspirin.
When aspirin was a part of the stack, caffeine aspirin, it's also a blood thinner, but when it's combined with caffeine, so some people cannot hardly find ephedrine, okay, what was available 20 years ago.
Yeah.
But now we also don't have the mahuang, the ephedrine supplement for, it was a plant-based thing from China. So when they combine caffeine with aspirin, they have some enhancement in fat loss, better, superior than just using caffeine, you know?
Okay.
This is the pre-workout benefit, but you shouldn't use aspirin after the workout because hypothetically you're going to hinder the muscle inflammatory response by lowering prostaglandin. So for me, it's better to use first thing in the morning the aspirin with the caffeine to have your empty stomach cardio and train later in the afternoon without the ephedrine caffeine, without the aspirin caffeine combo.
Yeah.
So to have a window apart from taking the aspirin in the morning and working out, so not to interfere the suppression of the inflammation that you need for the muscle growth.
Which is crazy because there's a lot of guys who pop Advil like candy before they work out, which is completely anti-ibuprofen.
Candy is stupid because it's gonna raise immediately, and then right after it's gonna drop your blood sugar, and you're gonna.
No. I'm saying I used a phrase that they pop ibuprofen like candy. They take a bunch of ibuprofen and then they go work out.
Yes, you shouldn't do it.
Which is they're killing their muscle growth, right?
You need the soreness. You need the soreness. This is the stimulus, and after the soreness, you need food, supplements, rest.
Yeah.
Okay. We break down muscles in the gym, we feed them in the kitchen, and they grow afterwards in bed.
Fair enough.
That's the process.
Final question, doctor. What is the proper timing for taking berberine and R-alpha lipoic acid? Does it hurt to take them together, or do they act in different pathways? Should they be taken alongside both, 1, high glycemic meals, and 2, high protein insulinogenic meals, which don't necessarily have carbs? Does it hurt to take them immediately before or during a training session with a high insulinogenic hydrolyzed protein/dextrose shake? Assuming the muscles and liver have full glycogen stores, is it beneficial to have the dextrose in the training shake and or the post-training shake in order to induce that greater insulin response? Wow, this is like a multi-part question. So I guess let's take this one at a time. What's the proper timing for taking berberine and R-alpha lipoic acid?
Well, if you can afford it, you can use it with every meal. You can also use it with, if you don't want to load with insulin before your show, you can use them both with every meal also to make sure your glycogen stores will be filled up and you rush your glucose from your carbs into the muscles.
Yeah.
Also, along with vanadium sulfate, it was doing the same job. And also, you can use them post-workout, of course, in order to enhance this this insulin sensitivity that you have, and then mimic the insulin production that alpha lipoic acid does.
Yeah.
Actually, berberine increases insulin sensitivity. They do not interfere straight with directly with insulin release.
Okay.
But you know what? There was a guy who met me in Las Vegas. There was a Greek who lived. He was married to an American. He lives in West Canada. How you call it? Above
Vancouver.
Vancouver, yes.
Okay.
So he offered me to mail me 3 bottles of berberine. I was using berberine along with GH in order to see how my A1C will reflect, because growth hormone elevates. Before berberine, I was using metformin. And you know what? When I finished the 3 bottles of berberine, I didn't see any significant reduction in my A1C. And as a matter of fact, it elevated from 4.9 to 5.2. So I don't know if berberine, it was the first time in my life that I used berberine. And in a high dose, I was using 1 gram with every meal. That's a lot, 5 grams a day.
Yeah.
And now I will take back to metformin that I started from the day. I'm not sure. Well, they say berberine has the effects of metformin and also not the negative effects of suppression mTOR and IGF-1 as metformin does. And also the GIT bloating or the B12 reduction that also glucophage has. But unfortunately, I didn't notice any significant reduction. I would be expected at least to be the same. The glycemic hemoglobin A1C in the same levels before and after I used berberine. Anyway, you can use berberine with meals or right after your workout to have a better rush of glucose into the muscle stores.
Okay. So he was also asking about shakes. Is it beneficial to have dextrose in the training shake, the post-training shake, in order to induce greater insulin response?
Yes, of course. Yes.
Oh, okay, fair enough. All right. Well, Dan, doctor, that was 12 questions. Wow. 3 times more questions than we had last week. How many will we have next week? We don't know. It could be 1 question, it could be 100 questions. We never know. But man, that was 45 episodes you nailed down today. 45. We're getting close to 52. That'll be a full year. And we're getting hyped about the Arnold Classic. Now, Rolly Winkler dropped out over the weekend.
Yes, I think this is a wise decision because he cannot pick into twice a year, right. And he's also over 40. And I think it's obvious that he wants to pick for the Olympia in matters of conditioning because he's the mass monster there after, well, with the exception of Big Ramy, that he's a hot favorite for the Arnold Classic title.
Right. Yeah, but this might be how Rolly wins the Olympia by sitting out most of the year and just focusing.
What about Sean Rodden quit it?
Yeah, what was going on with that? I wasn't sure what was. I didn't really look into that. His card was revoked or something. I heard. I don't know.
If Sean doesn't compete now, then he's off for over a year, and this is not good for his mindset for the preparation. Because Jake Adler said it's about the mindset that you have. Otherwise, if you become an ordinary civilian, out of bodybuilding shows, then everything changes. You have to be really focused.
Yeah, it's hard to go back. And Sean, I believe, is 45 now. I think. Yeah, he's getting up there. So, well, anyway, all right. Well, doctor, thank you so much. Again, you answered every question that your fans and your readers had for you. Yeah. Appreciate it very much. Tomorrow we have a new article coming out on musculardevelopment.com from you. Which one's it?
It's the post-cycle therapy.
Post-cycle therapy. I know a lot of you guys want to hear about that. So check that out tomorrow on musculardevelopment.com. And of course, check out the book one more time. A lot of great info in here. Bodybuilding, the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly on Amazon.com. Dr. Touliatos, thank you so much for taking the time, sharing all your information, knowledge with everybody. Much, much appreciated. Okay. And everybody, thank you for watching Ask Dr. Testosterone. We will see you next week.